couple of years down the road, you crawl out of bed, ready to face the day. A smile is on your face and a song is in your heart
Why? Why am I in such a good mood?
because you are going to be the first person to try the newest flavor of bubblegum in America.
And I'm not a gum guy. I've never been a gum guy. It just
Yeah.
texturally just fucking weirds me out. I don't know why.
Yeah. So this is a few years down the road. You've like been through therapy and stuff like that for a number of years at this point. Not for anything, not in response to anything bad happening. It's just, working on the look. You go, I'm working on my old noodle.
Yeah.
Gotta keep stirring that noodle, you say, every time you go to see your therapist. And
Okay.
along the way, it didn't start off, but your aversion to bubblegum actually became a driving theme in your therapy. Your therapist, Dr. Von Trapp, he
What
um
is this?
he's like he's able to connect your fear of the bubblegum texture to your fear of life, man. He's like one of those guys.
Oh no, this all sucks.
He has an acoustic guitar
Great.
in his office. You never like see him play it, but like you can tell this guy like back in the day was like, like a super. He goes, "I'm just a folked out hippie,
Oh,
and I love to get folked up."
oh,
He's like, "You ever listen to Peter
gross.
Paul? You ever listen to Peter Paul and Mary?"
I'm paying this guy to talk about fucking Peter, Paul, and Mary.
No, I mean like this comes up not every once in a while, but it has come up like when you guys talk about, because you just talk about your life, so you talk about maybe some bands that you've seen live and stuff like that, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, do you like
I
Richie
mean,
Havens?" And you're like, "What?"
I'm
But
I don't want
Dr.
yeah.
Von Trapp, beyond his like, very old school taste in specific folk music, he is a really good therapist, and you're able to open up to him in ways that you haven't been able to open up to other people in the past. And a lot of it is just due to his just mellow, hippie nature. He's got like a long ponytail, you know what I mean? His hair is fucking gray. It's as gray as the rocks that they hurled at Christ on the cross.
Jesus Christ, Pat.
It's the first thing you think the first day that you meet him.
That his hair reminds me of the rocks that were thrown at Christ while he was crucified. That's the
At
connection that my mind makes.
at age 33, high on that cross. So he's able to kind of get you to work on your aversion to bubblegum and its texture. And you're able to kind of work through it. And at this point in your life, you realize that you have had years wasted bubblegumless. And so you have decided to make up for it. You're doing kind of okay financially at the moment. You won the lottery.
No shit. How much did I win?
$17 million.
What? 17 extra large.
Extra.
Probably not even, probably more extras than that.
So after taxes and stuff like that. I mean, you don't get to keep all of it, obviously, but like
Sure.
you still get like
Like half of it.
yeah, half of it, yeah. And so You're able
Holy shit.
to, and like you're like, I'm not gonna go too crazy with this. I'm going to invest.
That's eight and a
And
half million dollars.
yeah, you invest the money and it starts paying off, man. You're doing like, at this point, you're like, you're doing okay.
Probably if I had won that much money, I think I would buy a house and then I think I would live really simply, you know?
Yeah.
I have no need, I have no desire for like a lot of things. I think I would like to have like a cool house. But I think I would live pretty simply and I would probably just try to live off of the interest with that money in the bank or whatever.
Yeah. You get this house. Um, it's like on a cliff, kind of. It looks out into
Is,
like a beautiful valley. You call it Yodelin Valley.
is this in LA?
This is in LA, yeah.
Oh man. How much does this house set me back?
So you don't like buy it outright, you have like a mortgage or whatever. But
How much does this house cost?
it costs like $4 million.
I'm not gonna buy a fucking $4 million house if I have $8.5 million. I could find a much cheaper house. I mean, it's probably a quarter of that to
Right.
find a house in LA.
So what happened was
Are you kidding? A
you're
$4 million house, Pat? That is so much for a person with no income coming in.
so what happened is you were gonna find a reasonably priced house, but while you were looking, you were like, all right, I'm just gonna stay at this place. Like I'll rent it for like, a month while I'm, trying to find a new place. And you just fell in love with
It
it.
doesn't matter if I fell in love. I've loved a lot of things that have not loved me back and haven't worked out in my life. This
Right.
house being one of them. I cannot afford a $4 million home. I cannot afford, you know how much it's going to cost in taxes every year? It's going to be absurd. I
But
can't afford this house.
you know that. Your brain knows that, but your heart is telling
Can't
you
do
a
this.
different tale.
I can't do it. It's
So,
$4 million house. Are you fucking kidding me? How much is
and
this costing me a month? And I'm renting. I'm renting. I'm
well,
not even like,
you started off renting it, and then you're like, maybe we can do like a rent to own type of situation. And they're like,
they're gonna
"Y-
not gonna do that on a fucking $4 million house. I would be so pissed off at myself.
yeah. The thing is that the way that you rationalize it to yourself is you go, well, look, I'll rent it, and then eventually that the rent every time I pay rent, it's like I own a little bit more, and so it's almost irresponsible not to do it. So you end up, and
Find a
also
smaller fucking house. Are
the
you
thing,
kidding me?
the nail in the coffin on this is the fact that the name of the house, the previous owner who owned it, they're like, yeah, it's interesting because when it was first built, they actually named it La Héron.
Just name house La Aron.
What?
That costs. I could name a house La Aron,
Yeah, but
right?
you're
And
like,
it wouldn't cost me $4 million fucking dollars. This is
right,
so irresponsible.
right, but this was already called that, and so you just feel like that's the thing that convinces you.
This fucking sucks.
So
This is so
every
stupid. I bet my mom has been like, Aaron, are you sure that, this is a good idea? And I was like, yeah.
yeah, and you say to her, it's called La Héron, Ma, don't you get it? And she's like, not really, and you're like, Ma. So
This
you're living
sucks.
at La Héron, and you have conquered your fear of bubblegum. So you're very into bubblegum lately. And bubblegum has sort of I'm not going to say it's a renaissance because it never went away, but bubblegum has never been better in America. bubblegum has like gone through the fucking stratosphere, my friend. There are several like companies that are devoted to like artisanal bubblegum. There's like mom and pop store bubblegum shops. There's a lot of people are doing some pretty cool stuff with it.
Wait, there are shops that are mom and pop owned and all they sell is bubble gum.
Well, I mean, they sell candy, but bubblegum is the hot item right now. So it's not just a bubblegum. It's not a mom and pop bubblegum store. It's more like a mom and pop candy place. It's yeah, one of them, the one that you like a lot. It's run by this old couple, uh, the Feldsons, Ma and Pa Feldson.
What's their shop called?
The sweet treat meat.
The Sweet Treat Meat is the name of their candy shop.
The sweet treat meat. Yeah, like you go there to meet. MEET. And it's where you kind of can go talk to fellow, candy enthusiasts, maybe grab a stick of gum, maybe a blob of that bubble, as they call it, and see what happens.
Ugh.
Like people, they Ma and Pa Felton, they create a community around their candy store. Like people really, it brings out all types of people, you know?
The candy store.
Yeah. And so, you like to go to Sweet Treat Meat to kind of hang out and talk to people and stuff.
I'm
And
not going there to hang out and socialize.
why not?
I'm not gonna go socialize at a fucking candy store.
Why? Everyone loves candy. It's such an interesting group of people, you know? There's people from all walks of life. They trot into that candy store ready for some goddamn candy.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna go hang out there.
I'm
Like
just
I'm
telling
gonna
you what
cruise
happens.
around. That sucks, Pat. I don't want to hang out at a fucking candy store.
One day, uh, Pa, as everyone calls him Ma and Pa, and so Pa, he's like, hey, Aaron,
Ugh.
come close. Because he's an old guy. He doesn't always hear super well, though you've always suspected he hears more than he lets on.
Sure.
But he's like, pretty wise, doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, people listen. So you kind of like lean in and you're like, what is it, Paul? And he's like, Aaron, we're gonna have the latest bubble gum. It's coming in tomorrow. You're gonna want to be here at 6 a.m. when we open. I'm only telling a few people. But you know how it is. You tell someone something, he tells someone something, he tells someone something, and then all of a sudden there's no more bubblegum left. At this point, he's like shouting really loudly. He goes, anyway, this is primo stuff. It's going to be the latest.
Well, what the fuck does that mean? How do you quantify what is primo bubblegum? What does
There's
that mean?
there is a company that they make what is they're not the highest selling bubblegum, but they are the most respected bubblegum company in America easily. They
So they make like high-end bubblegum and it's like small batch.
yeah, small batch high end bubblegum. They're called Adonis bubblegum.
Ugh.
And their logo is just a fucking face of a man, not a mark on him. You know, smooth, uncreased face of a fucking man, smiling a impish grin. So Adonis bubblegum, they're coming out with their latest flavor. And he's, Paul Felton is giving you a little bit of a heads up. But you know how word spreads, you
Yeah.
know, where like he said, he'll tell one person, they'll tell another person, whatever. So you after he tells you that, you're like, oh wow, thanks for letting me know. You leave, you kind of like accidentally not quite bump into somebody, but kind of like brush up against them. And
Yeah.
he's this guy, he's wearing like all black. He's dressed like a gunslinger and like a western.
A gunslinger at the candy store.
Yeah. He kind of like nods at you. You're like, you nod back. You walk home, and halfway home, you realize that like he didn't have like normal eyes. They were just black.
Yeah.
The black eyes of the bubblegum gunslinger. So
That's his name. The bubblegum gunslinger.
that's what you think of. I mean, I don't know what his name is, but that's just what you kind of like think of it. That's what you think. So the next day, you crawl out of bed and you are ready to get some goddamn bubblegum. You get there, it's like 5:30 in the morning. There's already a line of people, but there's only like three of them. So you walk over, you get in line. They kind of like everyone in line kind of like looks at you. They just sort of like nod. They go back to their phones. Everyone's pretty not not trying to talk or anything. They're all there for the same thing.
Yeah. This primo bubblegum. Adonis bubblegum.
Yeah. Their new flavor, Night Platinum.
Ugh. What
So
the fuck about precious metals is gonna make me think I want to taste that?
I don't
Night
know.
platinum.
Night Platinum. And
What
when
does that even what does it taste like?
so the day before when Paul Felton told you about this, he was like, it's their new flavor, Night Platinum. And when he says that, a shiver goes up your spine and it goes like up your neck. And it feels like that chill goes right into your fucking brain. And for a second, you kind of go, ooh,
Oh, gross.
daddy's cold.
Matt, come on.
So you are really looking forward to trying this. Like if just the name Night Platinum does that to you, puts a chill in that brain, you can't, you can't wait to fucking put in your goddamn mouth.
I don't like any of this.
So 6 o'clock rolls around. You guys all, you're let into the store.
What candy
Um,
store is opening at 6 a.m.?
the sweet
Who's
treat
showing
me.
up at 6 a.m.?
There's
Like,
a
oh, I gotta
considerable
get my candy for the day.
there's a considerable line
This
because
sucks. A 6 a.m. candy store? Are you kidding me?
so you go in. It's limited one, package a person. So you get your pack. You walk outside and you sit down on a bench across the street and you pop that first piece of bubblegum into that gaping, yearning mouth of
Ugh,
yours.
gross. Gaping and yearning? Jesus Christ.
and, and you start to chew. And I got to tell you, Aaron, it's pretty goddamn good gum.
What's it taste? What does night platinum taste like?
Night Platinum is a subtle mix of like juniper and like berries, with a hint just a hint of spice.
This is hot gum.
No, it's just like, I mean, a little, but it's more it's not like hot heat. It's more like it's hot on your tongue, you know? So you start
I gotta be
chewing.
honest with you, Pat. This gum sounds fucking gross. I've never thought, oh man, I would love a juniper. I would love a spicy juniper gum. I've never thought that. Nobody's ever thought that. This is
Well, that's why Night Platinum is such a good is such a it's going to be such a high seller is because these are things that no one has thought to put together in bubblegum
But
before,
also nobody's going, holy shit, it's about time somebody made a juniper spicy bubble gum.
Hey man, this is a few years down the road. The palate of the average bubblegum user has really excelled. It's gone to new heights. It's kind of like how craft beer turned, ordinary Americans into, people who start craving different types of, you know, beer.
Okay. How much does this pack of gum set me back?
$250.
Are you fucking kidding me, Pat? Are you fucking serious?
But that's chump change to a
Are
guy
you
like you.
fucking kidding? Not if I'm spending half my money on a fucking house. I'm not going to buy a $250 pack of juniper bubble gum.
You know that
Jesus Christ.
look, you know that it's not the most responsible purchase you've ever made, but as you sit there chewing that gum, your toes curling inside your shoes,
It's also somehow not the least responsible choice I've ever made financially either.
you think to yourself, I'm glad I did this.
I'm
You
not
start
glad at all.
you start to think, I'm into this. When suddenly, from across the street, you hear, someone stop that man. You look up and you see that same gunslinger from yesterday, except he's running out. He has a he's holding, those old school bags where people would rob banks and they would have like money signs on them.
Yeah, yeah.
He has one of those, but he's crossed off like the money sign and just has like a thing of bubble gum drawn on it instead. And he's like running out and it is filled to the brim with bubble gum. I mean, it's the Adonis bubblegum, so that's like several grand worth of bubblegum inside that fucking bag. He sprints towards you. What do you do?
Take a foot out and try to trip him. I'm sitting on a park bench and he's robbing from the sweet meat treat or the sweet treat meat.
The sweet treat meat, yeah.
Then I feel like awe. I probably feel like I'm part of that community.
Yeah.
So I would feel defensive. I would try to trip that guy. I would try to like slip it on him, to where he doesn't
Sure.
see it
Yeah.
coming.
Right.
But I'm tripping that guy.
Yeah.
And if he's like running too far outside of like my trip radius, then I'm probably like launching off of the bench to get into his way to like tackle him.
Fuck yeah. So he's running towards you and you're like, this is it. This is when like I start, standing up for the little guy, the maw and paws of the world. You blow a fucking bubble. You blow it and it starts like blowing just a little bit bigger than you've seen before. And you like your feet like leave the ground
Are you fucking kidding me?
and you take to the sky.
Are you fucking kidding me? I somehow fill up an Adonis bubblegum bubble with
Yeah,
my own breath and it inflates to the point that I take to the skies.
you do. And at first you're like freaked the fuck out, but then you remember, oh no, like, that the thief. And you look down and you adjust your um, your angle or whatever, and you slam right into that motherfucker. He's like, oh, he drops the bag. The bubble pops, and inside the bubble, like, is a baseball bat. Falls to the ground. What do you do?
I pick up the bat I'm gonna. Is he conscious?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's just
Then
like,
I
oh,
probably
he's just,
stand near and I scream like, "Hey, call the cops!" And I threaten him with the baseball bat as he stay on the ground. And I stand over him with the baseball bat, out of his reach, but I could definitely hit him with the bat.
yeah.
And I threaten him with it, and I wait for police to arrive.
He looks up at you. He goes, "Where the hell did you get that?" He
I
kicks it
go,
out of your
Shh.
fucking hand
He kicks it out of my. How does he? He's on the ground. How does he kick it out of my fucking hand?
because I don't know. I guess he's just like he's like on his back. You know what I mean? So he's like super
Yeah, but
fast.
well, I don't fucking know then because I've been disarmed by a man on the ground.
You realize that there's still like a little bit of like gum left in your mouth, and you just go like instinctually like you run to like there's like a fight or flight type of thing.
Yeah,
You choose to blow a fucking bubble.
great,
You blow
cool.
like another bubble, it like pops, a knife falls out of it.
I'm not stabbing this guy. I'm not gonna stab this guy. You know, if I had a baseball bat, I could
Yeah.
crack him on the leg and like immobilize him, or at least put him in like a lot of non-threatening blunt pain. But a
Yeah.
knife is different. A knife
Right.
means I might cut an artery or something. I might kill this guy if I stab him with a knife. I don't want to. Can I blow another bubble?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, I'll blow another bubble. What the fuck else is coming out of these things?
A machine gun.
Okay, I grab the machine gun and I hold it over him and I say, "You stay there, you son of a bitch, you thieving son of a bitch."
He just like
I,
puts
s-
his yeah, go.
I said, "You're stealing from a mom and pop store. It's a community. Don't fucking move." That's what I'd say.
He puts his hands up. He's like the fight goes out of him. And
Good.
you can tell that line about how he's stealing from the community. You can tell that like kind of gets to him a little bit, you know.
Well, you should have thought of that.
The cops show up. This guy gets out of the car, dressed like a plainclothes detective, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Walks over. And this guy is a grizzled old school cop. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
He is from the old school.
yeah.
He walks over. He's like, hello. My name is Lieutenant Herbert Crumbs with the Candy Crimes Division of Los Angeles. He goes, what the hell is going on here? I got a call about bubblegum theft.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, this guy stole a bunch of bubble gum from the Sweet Treat meat, and I managed to knock him off course and hold him here until you guys arrived.
He's like, great work, Aaron.
Thanks.
They put like the handcuffs on him, and he kind of like as he's putting the handcuffs on him, he's like, just one day away from retirement. He goes, this is quite a way to end that career.
Good for him.
He takes the thief away.
Yeah,
They like drive with like the lights on. They like book it.
yeah.
You walk over to the sweet treat meat, and they're like, holy shit, Aaron, like that was awesome. They go, here's one on the house. They give you a full pack of Adonis Night Platinum bubblegum.
I would say, are you sure? I
They're
know that
like,
this stuff is expensive.
they go, nope, that's yours. After what you did today, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. I would say thank you for that. I will treasure this.
You leave. You get a standing ovation.
Good. Thank you.
Everybody was already
I mean,
stand.
somebody should,
Yeah, they were already standing, but like you counted as one, you know. So you go home. What do you do with the bubblegum?
savor it. Stretch it out over a long period of time. I cut the individual pieces up into smaller bites, you know. Uh, I think I get to another situation in my life where I need something that would be like inconvenient to get, and
Yeah.
I think I chew a little bit and blow a bubble and see what comes out.
Yeah.
See if there's any, is this gum producing just weaponry or is it producing like other things that I could use in my everyday life?
So you sit down that night and that's your plan. You're like, I'm gonna kind of experiment with this bubble gum, see what's what, see how it works, get the rules. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you cut it into individual pieces and you start noticing that it doesn't matter how small the piece of bubble gum you use is, you're still able to one key feature of Adonis bubble gum is you'll always be able to blow a bubble.
Oh, great. Then I definitely split. I leave the hunk as is, and I would just chip off a tiny little piece anytime I needed it.
Yeah.
The tiniest piece I could imagine. I'd
Right.
probably get her like a razor for such occasions and make
So
this last as long as possible.
So you start like chewing it and like blowing bubbles and seeing what comes out. And the first time you do it, it's just like a stack of cold, crisp $100 bills.
Okay. How am I going to explain this to the government?
You feel like you can find a way.
All right. Then yeah, I try to refill my coffers after buying a $4 million house.
So you start doing that and you are chewing, multiple pieces a day. Sometimes it's for stuff you need. Sometimes it's just for, you just want to see what comes out. So you'll be sitting there and you'll be like, oh man, I don't have a fork or a clean fork or whatever. And you'll chew the gum and you'll have not only a clean fork, a clean spork.
I'm perfectly capable. I'm not going to be a glutton with this. I'm perfectly capable of walking into the other room and getting a clean fork.
Yeah, but you start kind of taking it for granted, like you just start because you have so many pieces of it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that.
One time you
I'm going
did
to
it,
be so fucking careful.
one time you chewed and like, yeah, sometimes it'll be like, $10 million. Sometimes it'll be a spork. Sometimes it'll be just, a helpful, like a handwritten note that just says, you're enough.
I'm making the smallest bites I possibly can.
A week later, there's a knock on the door. What do you do?
I mean, I live in a $4 million home.
Yeah.
Seems like I would have a gate or at minimum some kind of a camera situation that I can see who's there.
You look out,
I probably check on my phone.
you check on your phone, and it's that same grizzled candy cop from earlier.
Okay.
What do you do?
I would answer the door.
He goes, hello, Aaron. Lieutenant
Lieutenant
Sergeant.
Crumbs.
Yeah, Herbert Crumbs. Candy
I
Crimes.
th I thought he was retired.
He's like, until I crack this case.
Oh shit, what's going on?
He goes, Aaron, do you have a moment that we can talk?
Yeah, we're literally talking right now.
He walks into your house.
Man, I didn't invite him in. I'm not
Yeah.
inviting him in. I'm gonna stand there in my doorway and I'm gonna talk to him while he's on my porch.
He goes, Aaron, what have you noticed anything interesting about about like the gum, the Adonis gum? He goes, I think that's the key to solving this case. Can you tell me everything you know about it?
Um,
Have you noticed anything unusual?
I would look. I really don't want to talk about gum with you. No offense, but I don't I don't want to help you in solving this.
He goes, did you chew the gum, Aaron?
I go, I'm not answering any of your questions. Respectfully, um, I'm not participating in this conversation with you.
Yeah. And he kind of like looks at you and he goes, okay, Aaron. He like gets into his car, drives away. He has the lights on, but instead of going wee you, they're making the same noise, but it's like sad. It's like wee, wee,
That sucks.
wee.
He's got a sad police siren.
Yeah, he's bummed out. And so he like drives away and you're like, huh, whatever. And so you like watch him drive away and you're like, do I need to get like a lawyer or something? You're like, what the fuck was that about?
Yeah.
You turn around and there's a mirror in front of you and you see your reflection. And what's odd is that in your reflection, you are wearing the reddest suit that you have
Are
ever
you fucking
seen
kidding
in
me?
your fucking
Are you
life.
fucking
And you're like,
I
what
get
the
out of that
hell?
mirror
Well,
immediately. I leave
so
that mirror immediately. I don't sit there and ponder it. I get the fuck out of there. I don't want to look into this mirror.
so you every instinct in your body is screaming at you to walk away from this mirror, but you can't. You
Yeah.
are
Great.
transfixed by
Great.
just how red this suit is.
This fucking sucks.
And you kind of look up and you notice that like your face looks
I
different.
can't move.
No, you can't move. You have orange
This
stringy
sucks.
hair. You have like a clown nose, and
I can't even fucking move.
your reflection, like your mouth opens, and you can like
Can't
hear
blow a
your own
bubble.
voice, and they
Can't even blow a fucking bubble.
goes, "Hello, Aaron.
Fuck you. That's
It's
what I
me."
think. As hard as I can think anything.
They go, "You've been chewing on pieces of my soul, Aaron. I'm inside you. I
I'm
am
not swallowing the gum.
the Sugar King." And then your entire body explodes.
Right. All over this $4 million house.
Yeah, the Candy Crimes division, they were able to come up with like a way to counteract that, but you just like sent him away, and so he wasn't able to give it to you. So your entire body explodes, and then La Iran goes into like foreclosure.
Right. Who cares?
And instead of like instead of them just like trying to sell it, they just take a bulldozer and they push it off that cliff into the yodeling valley.
That sucks.
And in its place, they build a GameStop. But
The GameStop on a cliff,
yeah, that's years after your death at the
power
hands
to
of
the players.
at the hands of the Sugar King.
Fuck the Sugar King and fuck you. That one was all about gum. I don't even like gum. I hate gum.